Welcome once again to the Mask Fan Attic, all you creeps and weirdos and freaks and monsters and misfits and outcasts and malcontents and I can't think of anybody else. Did I leave anyone out? No, I think that pretty much covered the basic primary target demographic for this particular program. I didn't mention drunk people, did I? Welcome to all you drunk people too. Yeah, welcome and thank you for joining me here in the attic once again for a look at another interesting old Halloween masks. You know, most masks that we talk about here in the attic are masks of monsters of one kind or another, zombies and aliens and Frankenstein monsters and werewolves and such, but masks can also be human characters and also be interesting, such as the classic I have here tonight. This is the wrestler. Just wrestler. Now, I always thought he looked more like a boxer than a wrestler, okay? For one thing, a wrestler can look like anything, right? Including being a handsome guy. Whereas a boxer, you think of a guy who's maybe taken some blows directly to the face and would have, maybe a lumpy face, maybe he's had a broken nose, maybe he's got some bruises and so forth, some lumps on his face. But they didn't call it boxer, they called it wrestler. And another reason, I guess I always thought he looked more like a boxer. I think of a boxer as having the towel around his neck more than I do a wrestler. But I don't know, maybe wrestlers do that too. Do wrestlers put a towel around their neck? That looks like a boxer thing to me. The other thing is, the actual term for a professional boxer is a pugilist, which is why sometimes in the movies you hear him call a boxer a pug. This guy looks like his name would be Pug, don't you think? This guy looks like a pug right here, whether he's a boxer or not. Now, this mask is from the legendary Be Something Studios, which is now called Zagone, Z-A-G-O-N-E. But way back when this one came out, it was still Be Something. When was that, you ask? 1981. Now, the wrestler was only available from 1981 through about 1984, that period in there. And the wrestler was sculpted by the legendary, crazy talented, one of the heroes and geniuses of the mask history world, the amazing Bill Eastrom, way back in 1981. And I imagine you figured out by now that the towel actually is included as part of the mask. It's actually attached. Now this one, I don't know what this looks like on your viewing monitor of choice, but it's sort of a peach kind of color, sort of a pinkish, tannish kind of color. But some of these masks had blue towels, some of them had white towels, some of them had pale yellow towels, because I've seen them with different colors over the years. I assume they were released that way by Be Something. I assume all those weren't people who took the towel off and put on a color of their choice. Replacement towel, I assume, but I can't be sure, can I? No, I wasn't there when they were made, right? But I was there in 1981 or 82, and sit back now with your beverage of choice, because it's time for what is probably my best mask story ever. After this story, you might not ever have to watch one of these segments with me again talking about masks, because this is going to be as good as it gets, really, with me. Back in 1980, 81 or 82, somewhere in there, and let me just interrupt myself one more thing here. The towel does hang down in the back see, it's not attached all the way around. That's deliberate. It's assumed that the wearer's skin would show through under the hair of the mask, and that would be okay. And it looks that much more like this is your head, and you've got a towel draped around your shoulders, because you see when you're wearing it, you hold up your back, your neck holds this up, and it looks very natural, like he's got a... Okay, back in 1980, I'm going to say two, I think. I was new to the business of selling masks. I was collecting them, but I was just sticking my toe in the water, as they say, just learning about selling them. There was a county fair taking place, and the county fair was late enough in the summer that I thought, well, I don't know, people might be thinking about Halloween. People might buy masks at a county fair. You know, it's not fall yet, but well, people might be thinking about it. So I got a booth at the county fair, and I ordered a bunch of masks by other companies. I had some distortions masks. In fact, I remember I had a green Andromeda 2, and I think a time traveler, and a lot of really cool distortions classics, and a few basic masks that are you know, always popular. Like I think I probably had Yoda and Frankenstein, and probably a Wolfman of some type, probably Tor Johnson, probably a skull, you know, a lot of basics. And one of the ones that that I thought people might like was the wrestler, because I thought he was fun and he looked realistic and he looked like something that would be fun to wear to a party or what have you. So I had, I think, 3 of these. I had 3 wrestlers that I ordered. So over the course of the week during the county fair, people would come by and look at the masks that I had in the mask stand there, and for some reason people would always look at the wrestler and stare at him, and then they would kind of go like this, like they're saying something to the person with them, and they kind of, and I kept looking at the mask, and you know, at first I'm thinking, oh, is there something wrong with it? Is there, I don't know. And I wasn't sure what it was, but all through the county fair, people would come and clearly have some sort of reaction to this mask, and women would giggle when they saw it, and I never understood what they were on about. But clearly there was something about it that was amusing people. And finally, I hadn't sold any of them, and it was near the end of the event. And I finally asked some people who were clearly pointing at the wrestler up there on the shelf behind me and laughing about it. I said, excuse me, you know, all week people come by here and they look at the wrestler mask and everybody's looking at it, but nobody's bought one. Why did it catch your eye? What is it the towel? What is it? Is it the expression? And one of the guys there said, one of the guys who had been looking at it said to me, have you been out around the fair much? And I said, kind of, yeah, I think I've seen it all. Why? And he said, have you been to the French fry stand? Like the French fry stand. Then, no, I guess I don't know. And he tells me, well, you go out of this building and you go down that way and you go out, and there's a French fry wagon there with a guy selling French fries. And yeah, so, and he said, the guy who sells the French fries looks exactly like that mask. And I said, okay, that would account for everybody looking at it all week. So I took the next opportunity I could to go out in search of the French fry wagon, and I finally found it, and I waited for the people in front of me to, you know, move out of the way enough that I could see the guy inside. Sure enough, the guy inside the French fry wagon looked so much like the wrestler mask, it was absolutely comical. So, and this is a true story, I went back to the booth, and all the masks had a little 3x5 index card in front of them with the name of the mask. And in this case it said wrestler $35, because that's what this guy sold for. Back at that time was $35. So I took that card and I flipped it over, and I got out a Sharpie, or whatever we called them in the 1980s. I got out a black marker and I wrote French fry salesman $35, and I put it back up on the shelf, and I sold all 3 of them. And I do remember I said French fry salesman. I don't know why I didn't say French fry vendor or French fry man, but I remember I said French fry salesman. But anyway, the old French fry salesman didn't know how helpful he was, because see, he helped me sell 3 masks at the tail end of the county fair back in the 80s. And like I said, that's probably my best mask story of all time right there. Consider yourself privileged. No, not really, maybe. But now the mask always tended to have this reddish brown hair. At least every copy I've seen had the same color hair. And he, for some reason, this big, whatever this injury is here, was always painted this kind of off-white, like a cream color, this injury. Usually there was more red. I don't know if you can see, there are some veins on the forehead on this side and over here. This one doesn't have much red, but most of them, there was a lot of red on those veins. But anyway, my old buddy, the wrestler, aka the French fry salesman, a classic Be Something mask from back from 1981 through 84. And if you can find one you can either add it to your mask collection, or you could go in the French fry business.